Welcome back to Sonic 3 and Knuckles and the last zone of the first part of the game.
Facebook zone.
I have never understood how they jump out of the ground just because there's a bit of snow on the floor. How do they? Because that's clearly like metal. How do they jump out of that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're at the very limits of the structure.
Steve Scott, this is all your fault.
What did I do?
You're part of Sonic Retro staff, right? Which means that you respect these games, and anything I don't like about them, I can blame you and your retro fan losers on.
Why, just because I'm explaining something with logic?
There's no logic in this place. This is the world of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, I guess you could say they launched out of the snow because it's launch base zone and it deals with launching in every kind of manner.
Shut up, Tom. This is between me and Gareth.
Fine, whatever. I won't stop you.
Alright, the reason they jumped out of the snow... No, they jumped out of the snow because they're in ice cap zone. Hey, there's a lot of snow here. And they're burrowing underground. And they jump out at the very edge of that snow mound field thing, whatever. And then they end up at launch base zone.
Okay, now I've had quite enough of that bullshit. Stop it. FDA, get us back on track if you could, please.
Now, I want you guys, visually, I think this zone looks... I love the look of the Death Egg in the background. And now this is kind of a little fan nitpicky, but I wish the Death Egg in Sonic Generations had looked more like the Death Egg in this game.
Yeah. Didn't they change it due to LucasArts potentially pitching a fit?
I never heard anything about that.
I can see that.
I mean, I don't...
It's...
Yeah.
Look at it.
It's clearly the Death Star with a mustache, and that's why it's amazing.
That's how they avoided the copyright.
Exactly. Well, the one in the Archie comic book series was the actual shape of an egg, and I was just like, no, that's wrong. It's wrong. What the fuck you playing at, Archie? Bastards.
So I would comment on the music, but oh, look at that. We're Supersonic again.
Yeah, this is kind of Sonic 3 and Knuckles Supersonic Only edition.
I will say though, like this music, I mean, at this point in time, I hadn't played Sonic CD, the Anniversary. I hadn't heard any of like the voices in it. This was the first Sonic level where I had heard like human sampling in Launch Base the go, 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 and that blew my mind as a small child. I was like, oh my god, there's like people speaking in a Sonic level, and then of course you cut to 2012, and then you're like, oh god, please make the speaking stop on the Sonic level.
No, you're in 2012, and everybody decides to use it in their remixes.
Here's what you really do is you just replace go with dimps, so you can piss off everyone. Dimps, 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 dimps.
Where did he get that bomb from? Why is he blowing up his own base for?
It's not even ignited. There wasn't any flame on the end.
I guess I'll fall down now.
Did he really expect to kill Sonic with Sonic standing right by the exit? Like, that's kind of a fatal flaw in his plan. Look, I forget, using debug mode, there is a way, if you hit, in the bit in the tower when you find Eggman, or Robotnik rather, if you use debug mode, and hit Eggman like 900 times, he will explode and a single flicky will come out of it. That's what Eggman really is.
That also happens in Hidden Palace Zone, too. I think it's 256 times for that.
So basically, his Eggomatic is powered by a single flicky.
He's powered by a flicky.
M. Night Shyamalan wrote this game, so it's supposed to be M. Night Shyamalan ever wrote, but it was deemed too extreme for like Sonic fans, so they had to tone it down.
No, that comes 2 years later.
Oh, no it doesn't. It doesn't come out at all.
Thank God.
Yeah, Sonic Extreme did look kind of crap. I'm kind of glad it wasn't made.
Uma Thurman plays Sonic 3 and K.
I mean, the poor guy's in the development process. I mean, one of them almost died from it, but...
All because Yuji Naka was like, you guys can't use my Night Source code. Ah!
And then he drove off into the sunset in his Ferrari.
What is it with you and Yuji Naka's Ferrari? You bring it up every time you make it.
It's my Toot Sonic Warrior, okay?
Okay.
No, I'll say this, even as a kid, This Act 2, like it did for me. It felt like it was almost like a completely different level because it's so like all the water and it doesn't feel. I mean, it looks like Act 1, but to me this didn't feel like Act 1. It's kind of like, you know how in Sonic 1, Scrap Brains on Act 3 is all underwater. It kind of felt like they were trying to like mimic that. It doesn't for me. It doesn't really mesh well with Act 1.
Well, you're getting closer to the Death Egg.
This is a slight nitpick on my part. I know this is like the end of the first half of the game, but I still feel like, given the situation, like in the story and whatnot, that the level looks a bit too happy, like blue skies and whatnot.
Well, Well, I mean, I always just imagine, like, in terms of the cut-up battle, I always imagine this was just like a random, maybe a deserted zone that Robotnik just kind of adapted to like recreate the Death Egg on. Because, you know, the whole thing is like Sonic. In terms of the story, we should maybe comment on this. Takes place pretty much directly after Sonic 2, which is why at the start of the game, Sonic has the Emeralds, which means that the supersonic ending of Sonic 2 is the canon ending of Sonic 2, and so pretty much Eggman lands directly on the floating island, which causes the island to crash and fall down to the floor, which is why Sonic kind of just rides water onto Ranger Island, and Robotnik meets Knuckles, who tricks him into saying that an evil guy called Sonic's going to come and steal his shit. And so that's why, like, what I always imagine is that while Robotnik is fixing up his Death Egg, he sends Knuckles just to fuck with Sonic to buy more time. Which is why I always thought about it.
So does this game happen before or after Sonic CD?
After, I've always thought.
If it happens after Sonic CD, then that means it doesn't go into the split timeline at all, does it?
Oh dear God.
See, if Sonic has a good future, then we get to go to SA1. If Sonic creates a bad future, then we go to Sonic 06.
Those are both bad futures. What are you talking about?
Well, see, Sonic CD has never had an official place in the timeline, and it probably never will. Just all we need to know is that it takes place before SA1 and some point after 1.
Who's chuckling now, you fucker?
I thought first time I played this because, you know, when I first bought Sonic 3 when I was a kid, I had no idea it was the first half of a game. I just assumed it was Sonic 3, you know, and I thought Knuckles died there. I was like, oh fuck you! I thought he was dead. I would say the only thing about I kind of prefer this when it's the Sonic 3. On version on its own, because it's a lot harder. When you're playing this in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, all you get is this boss, which even if you want Super and just annoyingly destroying it, it's stupidly easy.
And for those of you who don't really play Sonic 3 standalone, the boss is the Big Arm.
I think you still fight that as Knuckles though, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Playing S3 and K as Knuckles doesn't make any sense story-wise.
Ignore what Sega said on the Sonic 4 website. It takes place after Sonic has already left the island.
And that's the real story, kids. We'll see you all next time for the second half of Sonic 3 and Knuckles in the Mushroom Hill Zone.
We're gonna cut off now. There's still like 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2...